Coming down the Kaibab Trail, South Kaibab Trail. Started out about 6:10 in the morning, and we are now looking at the sun just coming over the top. Very pretty. The Kaibab Trail is pretty spectacular. It's rough as far as trails go because it's so steep, but you get some fantastic views up here. Here is a picture of some mules on the South Kaibab Trail. I actually took this picture a couple of weeks earlier, but it fits here as I'm going down the South Kaibab Trail. This is Ua Point. I wonder why they name it that. Pretty spectacular. So this is me near Skeleton Point, and Skeleton Point is one of the first places where you can see the river down there, and so it's pretty impressive. There's the trail winding down. It's quite a trail. Here's a still shot of what we were just looking at. You can see how the trail winds down steeply from this upper section down to the middle section there. It gives you an idea of how steep that trail is. This is the middle level. A lot of scrub stuff down in here. And it's a cloudy day today, which is not so great for sightseers, but it's really nice for hikers because the sun is not beating down quite as hard. But you see this stubbly kind of growth down here at this level, about 3,500 feet. And now we're getting down into the canyon. So we're getting down pretty low. We're not all the way down yet, but we're getting there. Probably 2.5 miles maybe from Phantom Ranch. This is the bottom section we're looking down on now, and there is the river in all its glory. Winding down into the canyon here. Notice the color changes. It's red over here and then green over on the other side. I don't know if that has to do with the rainfall, or the snow I mean, but it's quite impressive, the color changes here. Got some rafts down on the river. They're moving along there, and they just crossed under the bridge. All right, I'll be heading down to the bridge soon. Here is the tunnel. We're walking through it. It's dark in here. Very mysterious. Here's the other end. Oh, it's really doing a number on the exposure here. I'll get up to the walls, and then we're going to pop out on the bridge. And here is the bridge over the Colorado. So, looking out to the west, there's the rafts over there, and then looking out to the east. Very impressive. Crossing over this suspension bridge. And actually not too scary because it's actually very stable. So there's the view from the bridge. This is the north side. Coming around and then passing over the river here, and then we're looking at the south side. The Kaibab Trail Suspension Bridge is quite impressive. It was built in 1928. It is 440 feet long, and it has 4 cables that are 550 feet long, holding it up. When it was built, it was the only bridge across the Colorado between Moab, Utah and Needles, California, or 754 miles apart. And today it's the only bridge across the Colorado, along with the other one that's down the way about half a mile, that crosses the river between Navajo Bridge and the Hoover Dam, which is about 340 miles. the cables themselves had to be carried down the Kaibab Trail, the South Kaibab Trail, which you've just seen some pictures of. And they weighed over a ton, and they were 550 feet long each. Each one had to be hauled down by 42 people, winding down that trail. How they did that, I have no idea. But they managed it. Apparently, OSHA was not involved at that time, although they did try to get some safety protocols in place while they were building that bridge. This is a little tributary that runs into the Colorado. We've got a bridge across it here. And it runs down, it hits the Colorado just down the way a couple, maybe 300 yards. Real pretty little stream. All right, we're coming up to the Bright Angel Trail. We're beginning of the Bright Angel Trail. There goes a raft. And here's the bridge that's going to take us back over to the south side and then up the Bright Angel Trail. We're about to get into what they call the furnace. I wonder why they call it the furnace. Well, I'll find out. Here we are crossing the bridge. You can look down and see the river below you, which could be intimidating if you don't like to look down from a height. The river's pretty impressive here, flowing to the west. Here's facing the east. And you can see the other bridge in the distance there. We're crossing the bridge. Here's the river just at the beginning of the Bright Angel Trail. There's the bridge, and it's flowing along there to the west. And there it's picking it up over here. Better not trip. We got a nice view here of the how much water there is in the river right now. It's pretty impressive. And then there's some very impressive cliffs up above. Bright Angel looking up is pretty impressive. We got to get to the top eventually. So we got a little bit of hiking to do before we get there. But it's still quite beautiful. It's also hot down here. They call this the furnace section. And but it could be a lot hotter. It's not too bad today, for which I am very thankful. Well, the furnace is living up to its name. It's hot, and it keeps on going up and up. So I'm hoping we're going to get to Indian Garden pretty soon, where we can cool off. But right now, the furnace is a little hot. This is Indian Garden, now called Havasupai Gardens. We made it. Very nice place here with a lot of growth. I've been following that greenery all the way up, but there's water and some seats. And it's also cooled off quite a bit here, partly because of the clouds, partly because we're getting higher up. So this is a nice place, and it's also 4.5 miles up to the top. It's going to be steeper, but it's going to be cooler. Taking off now from Indian Gardens. Some clouds have come in, which is nice periodically. There's the top up there, and we have 4.5 miles. So there's a 3-mile station, a 1.5 mile station, and then the top. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what we have to climb. So we are going up the Bright Angel Trail, and we are about to do 4.5 miles of relatively steep up. So hang on to your hats, because it's going to get a little steep. Still pretty though. And now, ladies and gents, we are walking up the trail. It's a nice steep trail. You don't want to keep looking up, because when you look up, you begin to realize you've got a long way to go. One step at a time. That's the key to surviving this trail. Okay, I challenge you to find a trail in the midst of that. There actually is one. You can kind of see it in the middle of this setting right here. It winds up there from the lower middle left, a little bit higher on the middle right. But this does not look like there's trails. The people who built these things were amazing. They put a lot of work into these trails. And we're soon to hit the steep part. So hold on to your britches, ladies and gentlemen. This is looking back down now. In the distance there, right in the middle is a big green patch. That's right around Indian Garden. And then you can see the path winding its way up. And then pretty soon after that it gets steep. And that's where we are now. We are looking, don't want to look up too often because it is up there. That's where we got to get to. Notice the light yellow and then the darker red down below it. So it's quite a pretty set of colors here. And then looking out toward the canyon and the north side on the far side, in the distance there. There's the 3-mile shelter down there and the people winding up from it. We're heading toward the 1.5-mile shelter now. The last stop before the top. Down below, you've got the path, and it winds around over there, comes up here, and eventually ends right up there. And in addition, you got a nice view of the canyon out in the distance. So we're almost there. There is the 1.5-mile rest stop, and we're starting to see some day hikers, which means that we're getting near the top. So 1.5 miles to go. There's water here, right there, and looking out on the canyon, got some nice views here. And we're almost to the top now. All right, we're coming up to the second cave, or second pass-through. Here it is. Walking through this. There's one more. Very close to the top. So once you get to these holes in the rocks, you know you're getting very close. Coming out of the final hole in the wall. Got a nice view here. There is a dangerous overlook. And we come through. Come through the hole in the wall. Here I am at the top and feeling pretty good. Without a lot of sleep the night before, I'm more tired than physically weary. My lungs are okay, my legs are okay, and feeling pretty good at this point that I managed to do this hike, about 18 miles total. Starting at the south end, coming back up the south end. Perhaps next year we'll have the clearance, with the snow being not as great, to do the north rim to south rim hike, which they call rim to rim. Beginning on the south rim, going down and coming back up the south rim, even on a different trail, is called rim to river to rim. So it's a great hike. I recommend it, although you do want to prepare.